Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next lesson in the Su-25T Cadet series. This time we're going to take a look at navigation. In the Su-25T we have three instruments helping us to navigate to our steer point. Since we have a proper HUD, we have a very easy way of navigating to our steer point. Let's take a look. Our HUD here has different symbologies. In the top left we have two numbers. The big number is your current speed and the above number is your desired speed. The desired speed is the speed that is most desirable for you to reach, or for you to fly at to reach your steer point at the desired time. What does that mean in practical terms? It means that, let's say you are flying to a target to attack it. If you fly faster than the desired speed, it means that you arrive early or too soon at that. That could mean that you arrive in the target area before SEAD/DEAD have time to do their job, i.e. killing all their defenses. If you fly slower than the desired speed, it means that if you are the flight briefed to destroy enemy air defenses, that air to ground attack aircraft may arrive in the area and you haven't killed their defenses yet. So always try to fly according to that speed, to the small brief speed. In the top right corner we have a big altitude and a small altitude. The big altitude is your actual altitude. Right now it is in barometric pressure because there is no R after it. If it has an R after it, that means that we are at or below 1500 meters above ground. And the R means that the altitude shown is measured by the radio altimeter. The smaller number up here shows the desired altitude, the altitude that you should be at. That altitude is shown in barometric pressure. How do we know if you're at the desired barometric pressure if the altimeter is used? Well, just use your barometric altimeter down here. One more thing in the HUD is that you have this circle here. This circle is considered a flight director. It tells you where to go to be at the desired altitude and desired heading. This cross you have here, that is the center of your aircraft. This is your wing and this is your stabilizer. If you keep your cross within this circle, you will always be flying towards your steer point at the desired altitude, because this shows you both roll indication and altimeter indication. Down here to the left we have the navigation mode. There are several modes. There is this en route mode, that is just basic fly waypoint to waypoint mode. The next one is the return mode. It guides you back to the return point, lining you up for landing. The return point is often 15 kilometers away from the airfield. That means if you're at the return point, you should have plenty of time and space to line up for the desired runway. Landing. It is the physical spot on the runway. Please note that this is not your touchdown point on the runway. It is most often the center of the runway, and you would never want to touch down at the center of the runway because that leaves you very little place and time and space to land. So after you reach the return point, it automatically goes to landing mode, and you have no navigation available. The standard one is the en route mode. Using the next and previous waypoint, you can go or cycle through your waypoints. Waypoint 1 is there, 2 and 3 and so on. You can go on for a lot of waypoints. As far as I know, there is no limitations in the Su-25T navigation system like there is on the Su-25. The buttons you need for that is navigation mode button, next waypoint airfield or target, and previous waypoint airfield or target. So now we know how to navigate using the HUD. Next instrument is our ADI, Attitude Director Indicator. Here we have a vertical yellow line and a horizontal yellow line. The horizontal yellow line shows you your desired altitude. When that horizontal yellow line goes through the dot in this circle, it means you are at your desired altitude. When the vertical yellow line goes through the dot, it tells you that you are at your desired or on your desired route to your steer point. Not directly to a steer point, but on your route to a steer point. When those two form a cross going directly through the dot, you are perfectly aligned to fly towards your desired altitude. Also, you have the circle here with a vertical line, a circle here with a horizontal line. That is for fine-tuning if you want to be exactly at your altitude. Below here we have the HSI, Horizontal Situational Indicator. Here you have one big hollow needle that shows you the desired route to your steer point, and behind that you have a narrow yellow arrow. That yellow arrow shows you direct course towards your steer point. And as I said, you have here the remaining distance to your steer point, here the desired heading towards your steer point. This heading is not the direct heading toward the steer point. The difference between that is let's say that that is a steer point, waypoint, waypoint, and waypoint. And you want to go like that. Your plane is right here. Your bearing needle, your heading needle shows you the direct course to this steer point. We need another one. No, yeah, well. If your steer point is number 2 here, the bearing needle, the thin, narrow, yellow will point towards that. But your course needle will guide you over to a course and then towards the steering or the steer point. That is why many people are getting confused, because they do two different jobs. The course needle shows you the course of the route, the planned route to a steer point, and the heading or bearing needle shows you direct course or direct route to your steer point. That is the difference. Some people like using the HUD, some people like using the ADI, some people use the HSI. You can use all three in conjunction. Some instruments are better at showing that part of the navigation, while that instrument shows that part of the navigation better. So let's fly towards steer point 1 using the HUD. That means I need to keep my cross within the circle. So all I do now is trying to chase that circle. I need to climb a bit, descend a bit. Now I'm pretty close to my desired altitude. I will just look at the desired altitude instead, because the circle is very precise, and I need to slow down a bit. So I don't arrive too early. Bit up, need a bit of trim. 450 speed. Now I need to maintain that speed, 2.5 kilometers. This is okay. And if you take a look at my ADI, those crosses are practically perfect aligned. So I can confirm that my HUD is working by using that. And I can also, if I'm more comfortable using the HUD, translate all that information down to the ADI. So slowly I'm getting comfortable using the ADI. The more instrument you are comfortable using, the better pilot you are. Therefore, do not ignore the ADI just because you like flying with the HUD. Slowly get out of your comfort zone, and the more you get out of your comfort zone, the larger your comfort zone will be. Because if I get a battle damage, my HUD is destroyed, I now know that I can use my ADI, because I'm slowly transferring this information down to here. And if you take a look at my HSI, you can see both needles are perfectly aligned. That tells me that I'm heading directly towards that steer point. It does not tell me whether or not I'm at the correct altitude. And waypoint 2, or steer point 2. So if we take a look now at my ADI, I need to keep making a left roll until this vertical line hits the center of my aircraft symbol here. When I have enough roll, that line will be center, therefore I need to maintain that roll. This instrument is very much alive the closer you get to a route. And don't forget that this instrument shows you your route and not your direct heading towards that steer point. Therefore, I'm using both of these instruments. As you can see, the narrow arrow is a bit off from the big hollow arrow. What these two want to do, they want to be completely aligned as before. And this instrument can help me make them completely aligned. When these two are completely aligned, it means that I'm heading directly towards my steer point, directly on the planned route. Slowly, as I turn, these two will come more and more together. At some point, I will ignore this instrument because it is just too much alive, and I will go or fly according to this instrument. That is when I take a look at the desired heading. When I'm very close to these two needles towards my top, I will fly toward that heading. Let's take a look. I need to do a left roll. That is plenty of roll. I need to maintain my altitude. Roll is good. Bit too much roll, bit left, a bit left, and a bit more roll. Now I want to level out. Now, even though my instrument says that I should not, that is because these two instruments need to align. If I do not want to be flying like this and this and this, always trying to catch the route, I will slowly fly towards the steer point. That way I can drag over the desired route. A bit too fast. And a bit more roll. See, as the two needles on the HSI is slowly coming together. When they are very close together, I'm gonna make a pretty hard right roll, like now. Go to 763 and 763. Those two needles are pretty good aligned. It is not perfect, but it's very close to each other. If you wait until the two needles are perfectly aligned, you will overshoot your route, and you will need to correct back and overshooting, back, overshooting, and so on and so on. You'll be doing that all the time. And now, as you can see, I'm getting closer and closer to my steer point. I ignore the course or route needle here because I'm so close. I'm within 1 kilometer. I'm just heading for the steer point needle, bearing needle. You can do that within 3 or 4 kilometers. And as you can see, I need to climb a bit. And next waypoint. Now I will be using all 3 instruments. So ADI, I'm getting the bang from that. The HUD is helping me to maintain my altitude. ADI is showing altitude is coming up or down. The HSI tells me that I'm 90 degrees to the right of the desired course. Speed is much too fast. Altitude is good. Bit too much row. Not that far again on the HSI. Altitude is good. Desired heading is 298. I ignore that for the moment. ADI says I need to be rolling to the left. Bit more roll. What I'm trying to do right now is to catch my desired course or route. Need to go back. I'm gonna stay here for a moment, trying to catch up my altitude. And I need to be soon, according to the HSI, roll to the right to catch up 298. I'm rolling over there now. 298. Speed is good, altitude is a bit low. As you see, that is pretty darn close. That is good enough. Now, as we approach the desired altitude, we need to climb a bit. Right now, I'm so close on my route that I'm just looking for or aiming to fly toward the circle I'm using my HUD. That way you can use all three instruments at different stages. And voila. Good altitude, good speed, good heading, 1 kilometer left. And as you can see now, this circle on the HUD is telling me to descend, but if I keep following that, I will be going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Therefore now, all I'm looking at to maintain altitude is my VVI, because it is much more precise than the, or not much more precise, it is much more easier to follow, because there is no delay on this. So now all I'm trying to do is just to level out, and now we are heading to the return mode. The plane automatically, or the navigation system automatically changes to the return mode. Notice the new speed, that is 350, air brakes out. Need to have a bit of roll, desired heading 234. Now I'm flying in the bubble. Flying the bubble, or flying the circle. Suddenly it jumps down to 1,000 meters. That is just how it works. A bit of left roll. Right now I'm just flying according to the circle. And I need to be pulling it up. See? I was ahead of the circle because I looked at my VVI instead. Air brakes are still out. 6.5 kilometers. Climb a bit. Bit fast, looking at DDI, looking at ADI, HSI. I'm a bit left of the desired course, but I'm within 4 kilometers. Throttle a bit up, air brakes in. Need to climb a bit of trim, and left turn towards landing. Now I know I need to focus. All my mind is going towards the landing. I'm in a landing state of mind right now. That means I need to maintain my glide path, I need to maintain my speed, I need to be thinking about the landing gear and flaps. Below 400 kilometers per hour, lowering my landing gear. And now I need to make sure that I'm at a proper lineup with the runway, and I can do that by calling up, calling inbound.
1-0-0. Кабулете. Следуйте курсом 287. Удаление 4. Давление 758,53. Посадочный 0,7. Занимайте высоту круга.
We are coming straight in. Be careful I don't overspeed with the gear out. I need to climb. One visual on the runway, there it is. Maintain my speed. Altitude is
1-0. Работайте с посадкой.
Yes. One stage of flaps. Or just when I'm at when she stops shaking, I will deploy full flaps. Yes. Stop shaking, full flaps. Right now I'm looking at the bubble I'm flying within the circle, and I'm looking at my descent rate. On the right side of the HUD I'm looking at the distance to the landing spot, and don't forget it is in the middle of the runway, and I'm looking at my radar radio altimeter to make sure that I'm properly aligned and not too low and not too high. I would rather be low because I can always throttle up. If I'm too high, I need to dive. And there's the outer beacon sound. Then I need to dive and
1-0. Кабулете. Проверьте выпуск шасси. Посадочный 0-7.
And I'm heading 07, the runway I should be landing at. That is perfect. A bit more speed. A bit slow. Height is good. Nose a bit down, 2 kilometers. Throttle back. Slightly high. The way I'm adjusting my height is just to level out. And preparing to flare. Air speed out, or air brakes out. Bit long, but hey. And brake shoots. And voila! Now we successfully navigate between 3 waypoints using all 3 instruments individually and together, and we landed. If you are on the middle of your route, let's say waypoint 3 out of 5, and you want to get back, you can just use the navigation mode and click it until it says return. That is the fastest way to get back, because I never use landing, because that means I need space to land at. Therefore I always use return mode. It is a very nice mode. So that is it. That is the navigation part in the Su-25T. It is very easy now that we have the HUD, but always get out of your comfort zone. Always use the instruments below you. They are there to help you, and they will not kill you. So thank you.